All right, I want to welcome everybody this Sunday, October 12th, 2025, to the OU Flag Guys post-game live stream show. I'm joined tonight by fellow co-host Swiggy, as Sean can't make it tonight, and Gavin is in mourning. No, he has to go work and stuff as well. So it looks like it's just going to be the Swiggy OU Flag Guy power hour tonight. So, Swiggy, how are you doing 24 hours since whatever the embarrassment that happened in Dallas as OU drops their first conference game and first game of the season 23-6 against the Texas Longhorns, losing the third out of the 4 year 3 out of 4 years of the Red River rivalry under Brent Venables, and still searching for a touchdown since 2023. Where are you at right now?
Many people are saying that the Oklahoma City Thunder remain NBA champions, and there's a chance that they're going to go 82-0 this year and repeat as NBA champions. Many people in Oklahoma are saying this. I think that says it. I think that says it all. I mean, look, I expected it to be. I, I expected a physical football game. I expected a defensive football game. What I did not expect was after I heard Mateer was starting, my main concern was, okay, is his hand going to be good enough? Is it going to be sharp enough? His hand looked, he looked sharp enough. The problem is, what he had upstairs wasn't working all the way.
Exactly. Mateer had a terrible game. There is no other way around it. But then again, Mateer is one of a death of a thousand cuts in that entire offensive, whatever you want to throw out there. I mean, sure, we doubled the production that we did last year, but did we even make it into the red zone this year?
Yes, we
I
yeah, I
can't
think
recall. Like I'm
I
not
think
be
we
honest, I have
did.
not gone back and reviewed it.
I
I
haven't.
don't
I
think
haven't
we
gone
have.
back either. I think we did the first. I think we might have the first drive, but I can't remember exactly. So
Exactly. And it's a regardless of how you feel with it, OU drops this game. And again, the question started again of is Brent Venables the right guy to lead the program at this point? We're on year 4. 3 out again, repeating myself. 3 out of 4 of these Red River debacles, you have failed to score a touchdown in it. That's unacceptable at OU. Like
I
I can
agree.
understand. I think I'm in agreement with you, Swiggy, that a lot of us expected that this was going to be a grinded out battle. You and I both said on live stream that we thought it was going to be in favor of OU because it was going to come down to the D lines and it was going to be whose O line doesn't throw up nearly as much on itself. I thought it was going to be OU. I thought I was going to be a little more competent in
Yeah, I
OU
thought
for it.
OU's. Yeah, I thought OU's line was going to be much more competent than they were. I'll credit Texas's O line. I didn't think they played great, but they were able to put points on the board.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
you know, at the very like what Texas did was kind of how I saw OU going. I thought we were gonna be able to put up about 13, 20 points, and that was somewhere in there, and our defense would go the rest of the way. And I credit to our defense, they kept the game much longer than they should have. I mean, if it wasn't, I mean, there's a universe out there where 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 the refs call that block in the back, and and maybe we get a pick six or something. So I know the 23 makes it look bad, makes it look bad. But I thought our defense did a solid job overall. You can't stop them every drive. I was happy with once again, but like I said, I'm happy with what I've seen there. But the offense has to be competent, and if the offense can't be competent, then there's really, I mean, you're just wasting. You're wasting a really good defense because
Doesn't that
it's.
sound familiar?
I mean, well, we're used to the opposite. Well, we're used to the opposite. Really great offense with competent defense.
Yep,
So
we're in Bizarro World Lincoln Riley edition, where we're instead of in the Marvel universe, we're in the DC universe now. But I mean, we could take both this two different ways, Swiggy. But which direction? Let's kind of recap the game at this point, and then kind of start circling to like the more broader questions, because I think that's what everyone's going to be asking themselves for. So, again, kudos to Texas. They basically did what we thought we were going to do to
yeah,
them. We
yeah.
thought that we were going to overwhelm their O line. We thought we were going to get to Arch. Turns out it was the other way around. We could say that the D line had a bad game. It was probably their worst game this year. Unfortunately, they had to drop it to this game, but they had a bad game.
I didn't think the D line didn't have a great game. I wouldn't say they had a bad game. They had a solid game. It I would have liked to have seen a few. I would have liked to have seen some sacks, but the but but the D line kept us in that game. Now that said, I do agree it's been their worst game of the season, but their worst game of the season was still competent. So yeah,
Correct. And I am. People have already thrown out their post game stuff. I know Scoop has, as well as Gabe and Teddy. I am nowhere near on the like complete meltdown that I am on the defense, because the defense did what they were supposed to. At some point, when the defense, I think, however many plays OU was on the field for in the third quarter, I can't blame the defense for getting gassed. The offense
no,
isn't pulling their
no,
weight. And that falls,
no,
that's not on the defense. I think the defense did what it was supposed to. At some point, it was going to break. I think
yeah,
as far as I know, they held them to one touchdown with it. The
yeah,
rest were like
one,
special teams and field goals. Like, again,
yeah.
the defense took care of business. It's the offense left them out to dry. I
I
think
looking it up, just looking it up here. Let's see. I mean, time of possession was about even, which that feel well. I mean, we had some good drives in the first. We had some good drives in the first half, so
correct.
that so so that was good. But the thing that sticks out is 1.6 yards per rush. That's
Correct. And
just ugly.
we'll circle around to that in just a moment. We'll just a moment, because I do want to throw this in
Yeah,
with the
sure, sure,
defense.
sure.
Really, a lot of the guys, like, I think the defense's biggest knock yesterday was, you can't get a turnover if your life depended on it. Used to, we would say that OU's offense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Defensively, I don't know what it is. I feel like they have traded. They swung too far in the opposite direction of sound tackling, sound don't like excuse
Mm.
me, I lost my train of thought for a sec. We swung too far in the direction of sound tackling to no turnovers from before, where we tried to force turnovers, but then we would have missed tackles and everything at this point. I feel like that pendulum's too far. They have not found the healthy balance for that. Has it made them a competent squad? Absolutely. But you got to have turnovers, guys. You have to force something. At some point, that's not going to hack it at that point. You're not going to get a safety every single play. Really, though, yesterday, I would say the biggest two uh, defensive guys who really kind of just were bad yesterday was Jaden Jackson and definitely Robert Spears Jennings. Like, Robert Spears Jennings was just not on his game yesterday. It was kind of like out of character with just how many poor missed tackles missed tackles that he had at this point. It was just a complete miss on for a defense. Kind of sucks. It is what it is. Now, there's not a lot to say defense. Again, I think the defense pulled their weight.
Yeah,
It's
defense. I mean, I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't feel it, but but I mean, defense. I mean, defense had more tackles for loss than Texas did. I mean, defense was sound, and I mean, I kind of agree. At some point, you have to try and force a pick, but yeah, I mean, if I'm complaining about that for the defense, that's fine. But I mean, overall, defense did.
They did what they were supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, if you tell me that the defense gave up, I'll take. I didn't really care about the garbage time field goal. I mean, they gave up 13 points they gave. I mean, they essentially gave up 13 points.
Yeah, they
They
gave up 13 points, and yeah, there's
until
not a
that.
whole lot we can say on
Yeah,
the defense for it.
yeah. I mean, there was a garbage time field goal. They gave up 16, but I'm not going to go too. I'm not going to go too hard on I'm not going to go too hard on garbage time stuff, just because that's. I mean, if there's I mean, I guess if there's one good thing I'll say about the defense too, it's that they didn't give up a garbage time touchdown. That they still at least only held into a field goal. Um, but yeah, I mean but yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say. I wish they'd be able to reach Arch a little bit more, and maybe they could have, but it's not. I mean, it's not like I mean, Arch was completing passes, but he only had 166 yards passing. That
Yeah,
wasn't so that was not a world breaking game from Arch. I mean, MVP of that game was
Wisner.
Quinn, yeah, Wisner. I mean, he was the game. I mean, he was the game changer there.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
because right when OU needed something, he they the Texas was just able to run the ball just enough, and
Yep,
we couldn't.
yep,
We were lost on running the ball. So
yep, yep. Now let's switch gears because again, there's only so much I can say about defense. Defense is not the problem. Boy, the offense though, it's same shit, different years. Second verse, same as the first. However, you want to have your nursery rhymes from top to bottom. The offense looked like they did not practice. They had 3 weeks to get ready for this game, and it didn't look like they practiced at all. And we should have all been very, very like already red alert, which I was. Don't get me wrong with it, but I was hoping my jokes would like roll into like the intro video. Like, there's only one. I was hoping we would win that way, but
yeah,
the big issue is from top to bottom. It started with Mateer breaking his hand. In no way, I know a lot of us were smoking the hopium, but in no way is someone going to have their hand healed within a 2 week span and get ready to go. Now, did that reflect yesterday? Maybe. I don't know to what extent his hand was still in pain. I don't know to what extent. I'm gonna. To me, I don't really think it was his throwing. I
yeah,
think it
this
was everything
throwing
else. This looked like a
was
guy who was not ready for a big time stage like that, for
yeah.
away from an away crowd, and he looked rattled. He
He
looked
did.
like he could
He
not
did.
see down the field.
He did.
He
There
looked
were all
he looked
three.
worse than all the times I said that Dylan Gabriel looked like a 3 star. He looked like a 3 star
Why?
yesterday,
Yeah.
and he looked with like
He's
a
now you
uh
wish. Now you wish you
go
had
ahead.
Now you wish you had Dylan Gabriel. That's a lesson for you, Josh.
What?
You wish you had Dylan Gabriel on this team. That's a
I
lesson
do.
for you. That's a
Yep.
lesson for you.
Yeah, I do. I feel like Dylan could have like look, I give Mateer credit where it's due. I think he is a great in-game manager. I just don't know where the fault was yesterday of where it was. To me, he was throwing downfield into oblivion at this point. I don't know what he was looking at. There were so many guys that were more wide open. I don't know if he got scared or jumpy or tried to play hero ball because of the failure of the O line yesterday. I don't know if after they
Yeah.
knocked his hand a little bit, like, did that give him some jitters? I don't know. There is anything, but to me, the hand is the least of the worry. I think he just played terrible yesterday and really showed like what a lot of Washington State people said, like, yeah, he's good when he's leading and like the game is in hand, but once he starts getting into hero ball, he cannot make any adjustments and he just begins to fall apart very, very fast.
Yeah. I mean,
And we saw that. And we saw that
I
for the first time all year. It was like we're in a this wasn't like the Michigan game where we can come back from behind. This wasn't like the Auburn game where we can come from behind. This was
there was
first
still a
time all
chance.
season we were
Yeah.
in a
There's.
hole and it looked like there was nothing working.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I mean, look. The first interception. uh, That was a bad throw, but but okay. But okay. Sometimes weird stuff happens. I don't know what that second interception was. that second, like
That chuck
like
and pray was bad.
I mean, if you're gonna chuck and pray, throw it out of bounds. It's if you don't think one of you guys can catch it, that it looked like he was throwing it. It looked like he was throwing it to the Texas player. I'm not. I
Yeah.
forget who got. I forget who got. I forget who got the. I
I
forget
think
who
it
got
was
the
the
pick
same
there.
guy who had the second one or the first one. Again,
Yeah, Muhammad. It was. I think it was Muhammad.
yeah.
Yeah, Muhammad had
Yeah.
that pick, and and looking at it, I'm just like, that was that was when that was when I started to feel uh-oh, because
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that can't happen there. I mean, I could spend look, I could look, I could spend an hour talking about the conservative approach we took there, which I don't hate. Which to me, that just some of that was, I think they were shaking confidence in Mateer there
Yeah.
because they didn't want Texas to get the ball back before halftime, and they were content, and they were content to take a shot and kick a field goal, which okay, fine, but you should have tried to get a little bit closer because once Texas wasn't taking their timeouts,
Yeah.
Texas was content going into halftime, which is fine. That's good. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
there's any
absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong, especially on a hot day like that, to where it's like it's like you want to get points, but the defenses are operating at a high level, and you want to go into halftime, just get some water, get some air, take a shit. So I mean, I could go more into the conservative approach there, but that was when I really saw Mateer, and I was just oh, that just looked bad. There was
It was. And
nothing good. There was nothing good there. I'll be
no, there
honest.
wasn't. And I mean, we could talk about that with that entire last 5-6 minutes of the second quarter and just the complete meltdown from top to bottom from Venables at that point. But even then, I feel like there's still more before we can even circle to the actual game for that, because quarterback play was an absolute failure. Running back play was an absolute failure yesterday too. And it's at I guess I'm going to go two parts with this, because at some point,
Josh, name me one thing on the offense that wasn't an absolute failure.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
I would say our kicking game, but that's special teams.
yeah, special teams. Yeah, no. I mean, okay. I will say one thing. I do think, given the challenges, the receivers looked fine. They didn't like blow my mind or anything, but but at least when when the ball wasn't thrown behind them, they caught it. They did make some good first downs, but uh, tight
Yeah,
end. Tight end. Tight end. We got nothing out of tight end. No physical play. The
tight
offensive
end
line.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean the offensive line. It just looked like we were being
It's
pushed back
bad.
every run. It looked like we were being pushed
It
back
was
every run.
bad. I call it what it is. It's bad.
It is bad, yeah.
It's bad. And you're right. I mean, we could go every individual unit. Which one actually, what was a bright spot yesterday, truly, in the offensive side? I mean, I think you could say Blaylock.
Yeah,
Blaylock did his
yeah,
best, like for what he had to work with, and same thing with Dion Burks. I could say individually
yeah,
they did
yeah.
their best, but as a unit, they were garbage. Like, why wasn't Giovanni Gibson like involved at all? Why wasn't any of the I felt like we were with the offense, we were trying to force a square into the round peg over and over and over. And it was going to happen whether we liked or not, which again, Wazoo players have said that is Arbuckle, that he does not make adjustments if the plan goes right. And we saw that yesterday. We saw
Yeah.
he was trying to make the tight end stuff, like forcing the tight ends to happen. Like, that ain't gonna work, man. He tried to make the run game working. That's not going to work. At some point, you have to find something that is, and it wasn't. None of it was
Yeah,
going to work.
you have to do something you have to do something like even then you have to do something like I had no problem running the ball because even if the
Yeah,
run game isn't working, you can't abandon it completely. You have to keep them honest, and maybe you'll find a hole. So, but I just I'm just watching it, and it's just yeah. There, I mean, there. I'm just watching it. And it's like and look, Texas has a good defense. To be clear, I want to be very clear about this. Texas, despite everything, has a good defense. It's a rivalry game. They were always going to show up, especially after they lost it. Especially after they lost to Florida last week. Like, I think both defenses had the same attitude. It's just our offensive line was worse than Texas. It was worse than Texas's, and you know, uh, once again, I'll give it up to Arch. He didn't force anything really, which he kept it. Which I mean, I guess hats off to Texas. They came up with the most vanilla passing game plan they could.
But we couldn't stop them, so it really didn't matter.
Well, no, we stopped them. We stopped them. We only gave up one touchdown. We couldn't do anything on offense to equalize it. So
True. The hard part is, I stand by this, but I know the entire game on the line, it wouldn't have worked. I still stand by that. Throw Hawkins in for a drive just to that's enough, Bevo. You're gone, dude. You're gone, dude. Sorry. Like I said, I'm not taking the troll tonight. I am all for to state it to the chat. I am all for recognizing other team wins. I recognize what it is, but when we're saying legitimate stuff like the offense was crap and it's saying Cope, no, I'm done.
no,
By the way, that's the first person I've banned in 6 years doing this. So kudos to you, dude. Kudos to you. And Sooner Cowboys, we'll address that in a moment. But again, top to bottom, there is no shining spot yesterday. I was trying to find it in the messages what someone said to me, and I'm trying to find it, but to Texas's credit and stuff too, again, they marched out with they came hungry, and I think that's the frustrating part. Is Brent even said in the post game, well, we didn't come hungry enough, and it reflected how did we not come hungry enough for this game? You had 3 weeks to prep for this game, and you had 3 weeks to game plan, knowing if you go 6-0, you're 2-0 in the conference, you are on track, you are top 5 in college football, lining up for the meat grinder that is the SEC. How do you drop the ball that hard? And let me reset my headset for a sec, Swiggy, but go ahead with your comments.
I mean, I don't really know. I'm not in there. Like I said, we don't know. Maybe Mateer's hand was just that bad. It was really affecting his play. I don't know. I don't know what prep went into it. I mean, defense came hungry. Defense did everything they could. But at the end of the day, the offense just it was a puzzle. It was a puzzle. The offense just couldn't they just couldn't figure out. And even then, I'm not even sure it was a real puzzle. It was just in pass rush, Texas's defensive line pushed our offensive line around, meaning we had to pass. And look, you can talk about coaching, you can talk about whatever you want. When Mateer's making those kind of decisions to throw the ball, there's only so much coaching. There's only so much coaching you can do. I know everyone likes to blame coaches, but sometimes it's just on the actual people playing the game. So it's unfortunate. It's
I was on mute. I was gonna say, to add to that as well, Swiggy, that's what people need to realize too with it as well is, yes, we lost to Texas. It sucks. It's gonna happen. We all watch sports for that reason for it. Like, if you can't take losing to the team, don't be a sports person, don't be a video gamer, etc., etc. It's not that you lost. It's how you lost, and it's the same mistakes over and over.
If we had lost 20, if we'd had a good offensive game and lost, let's say 23-20, I mean, I'd be mad at the refs because I'd be mad at the refs.
Correct.
But
Well, imagine this was a Michigan game, it would have been disappointing, but it is what it is. We can see the improvement. That's the issue. We are not seeing the improvement. And I will outright say, and I know people have said Brent Venables has improved. No, he hasn't. And I will this will be the hill I die on. Since Brent Venables has been hired since 2021, has game time management gotten better? No. Has the middle eight gotten better? No. Has the under 7 gotten better? No. What has actually gotten better under Brent? You could say that the defense has, sure, and I will absolutely give credit.
Recruiting's gotten a lot better.
Correct, and I will stand by that. I will actually stand by as well that, like I said, the defense has gotten better. We're actually seeing the defense get deep. We're seeing them actually getting people into the league and actually seeing depth. Yes, I will give credit where credit's due on that. And I will also defend that. Yes, Brent Venables has won big games. Here's the issue. He has not had any consistency. Consistency is the word. Yeah, you beat Texas in 2023. Haven't done anything since then. Yeah, you beat Michigan, but will it mean anything by the end of the season? Has it led to players making that next step? We'll see at that point. He beat Bama, but Bama, to me, I'm going to be honest, Bama was a make or break, and they were going to play out of their minds for that game. Some of it I do blame DeBauer, is that was him being a little fresh from it, and having the home environment. But again, even with Texas, and I don't want to take anything away from the 2023 game. That was one miracle play. And yes, both teams were at it, and that would have been a disappointing game, but that was one miracle play from 4 years in a row at that point. At this point, in my opinion, Brent Venables is like a combination almost of Gary Gibbs and John Blake, where they are not good game time managers at all. And the problem is that what you need for a head coach. You need someone who's a game time manager, and when they get lost, they look like deer in the headlights lost, and they have no direction what to do.
I mean, I don't think I don't think Brent's that bad, but yeah, I mean, this is on. I mean, the offensive struggles are on Venables. He's the head coach, and at the end of the day, that's where at the end of the day, that's where we are on it. We're struggling offensively, and when the offense is and look, I mean. You guys have heard, if you've listened long enough, you've heard my rants on Ryan Day in some of the non-OU sections. So I definitely feel it. This is probably the first time I'm really doubting Brent. Just because, recruiting saves you when you're building a team. I want to be clear about that. So much recruiting can save you, but we need to see something. I want to see how the second half of the season goes, because I'm not out on Brent yet, but I'm as close as I've ever been to being out on him. And I mean, it depends. It depends how the games go. It just depends how they go. If we can go, 3-3 with 3 close losses, okay, I'm not out on him yet. 3-3 with 3 blowout losses. That's gonna be tough to get me to. That's gonna be tough to keep me there. I'm very much, yeah.
I don't have problem saying it. I wavered a little bit because I did want to see credit. I'm out on Brent. I think Brent should have been kicked to the curb last year, and I stand by that now. I think this game was how I felt with Ohio State 2016 with Bob Stoops, where after we lost that game, for context, I said, look, Bob has done his time here. He can retire when he wants to, but we need to let go of the idea that Bob was ever going to take us truly to the promised land again and actually win it all at that point. He'll win a few good, amazing, individual games, such as the Sugar Bowl, things like that. But for the Bob Stoops that was hungry, who wanted, and he did, but I think it was too many things for when he was hiring his drinking buddies in 2010 affected that outcome. he was never going to do that. I am there with Brent.
Yeah,
There's
I
been no
mean,
improvement with Brent. There is nothing that gives me confidence. And this is why I say this, because I do want to circle around to coaches and stuff too. Give me, and I'm not going to say give me a reason that why, because that's more for the coaches. But are we just going to continue shuffling chairs on the Titanic, Swiggy? That, okay, we get rid of DeMarco. We'll bring in a running backs coach. Well, we got to give him another year because got to get him situated.
well, no. This is at this point. Look, Brent deserved 4 years just because of how badly the cupboard was bare. The second half of the season is going to determine it. That's in my mind. Brent is coaching for his life, and I understand here because look, but no, saying changing your offensive coordinator, that's not a good reason to keep Brent. If you're going to keep Brent, it's because he goes 4-2 against a tough SEC schedule. You end up with 3 losses overall, and you feel and at that point, I think you could feel like things are moving in the right direction. But if they go 3-3, are things moving in the right direction? And that's very much when I think you have to make some and I mean that's when I make the decision to fire him. Like I said, I'm almost out on him. Almost, but
It depends. It depends who, Swiggy. It
oh
depends on
wow.
who they beat you.
That is beautiful.
Baseball.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh just tied the ACLS game one.
But
Uh,
but
but
again,
yeah,
Swiggy too. If you're not out on him, what 4 years is enough of a body work. 1 out of 3 against Texas. He hasn't scored a touchdown against Texas. We have not beaten an SEC team since entering the SEC.
yes we
Outside the state of Alabama.
okay. Yeah. Well, that's a weird quirk, but that's why I say I want to see the second half of the season.
But what does
I'm not out on him because I want to see how he does against the rest this year against the SEC. I'm not sure what to expect. But if there's a loss to Ole Miss next week, well, especially after how they looked against Washington State, guess what? I mean, things will be heating. Then things deserve to be heating up then. And I think, if Brent goes 3-3 and you look at his body of work, I'd be out on Brent. I have no issue firing him. I think he needs to go at least 4. And I think he needs to go at least. Well, okay. 4-2. 4-2. If he goes 4-2, I'm feeling fine. So
I would still say, and look, to clarify too, I think everyone who thought we were going to go undefeated, like, get that nonsense out. It was never going to happen. I also think too, like, I don't think 6-6 was in the cards with it, and some of it is beyond Brent. Players getting injured, that is beyond his control for that. But the stuff that he has control over, he has not, because that's where I'm going as well. In addition to those like little nuances, the problem is he's keeping staff on staff that have shown they are absolute failures, and he refused to remove them. I don't know still to this day the Seth Luttrell. I've heard so many rumors for it. It is what it is.
yeah.
But my understanding is that was not his choice. That was beyond him. That means he wasn't going to remove Seth. How can I trust someone who obviously sees the complete abysmal failure of his assistant coaches? Who, it's not like a Arbuckle where, yeah, Arbuckle got schooled yesterday. He's only been there for 5 games. I'm not going to place a lot of blame on Arbuckle outside of, dude, you need to grow a little bit into your role outside of trying to force and run things like that. I'm not going to blame him. But like Joe John, we've all agreed he's a waste of space on the staff. Punt him into the sun. His staff position could be utilized for someone else better. DeMarco Murray, I think people have finally gone to my side of he should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah,
DeMarco cannot recruit. He's not developing players. This constant rotation of running backs, punt him into the sun as well. I know why they don't want to. It's because, he was the prodigal child. He was a Sooner. Cool. This is a business. This is a results-based game. Punt him into the sun. He is not doing it.
That's not what prodigal means.
Yeah. Like that. Well, what I'm saying is he is, we don't want to fire him because he's one of us. Guess what, guys? It's a business. At some point, you're good as a player. You may not be good as a coach. just like with Brent.
Yeah,
He may
I
be a
agree.
fantastic coordinator. He sucks as a GM. He sucks as a head coach and has proven nothing that he hasn't proven. And I will stand by that. There is not going to be anything that can be swayed with me that says he's grown. No, he hasn't. We're still making the same stupid mistakes that we did in his first year. I give a mulligan the first year because the mulligan is, yeah, you had nothing in the cupboard. This is a learning experience. It's year 4 going into year 5, dude. It's time. It's time. So, like, yes, DeMarco needs to be punted into the sun. This is hard because at least with DeMarco, you can say there has been no player development. I think we can all agree on that his rotation shit sucks. I'm still on the fence with Emmett Jones. In some aspects, I think the wide receivers aren't doing a terrible job. On the other hand, no one has stepped up as the guy, the one person go-to target you need. We thought that was going to be Dion Burks, but Dion hasn't really become that, central role type of person at this point.
Dion's been fine. Yeah, Dion's been fine. He's but you need more than fine. I'm just saying.
Correct.
To me that I'm just saying to me that's what he's been. I mean, and
further elaborate on that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he didn't look terrible yesterday, but some of it is the offense too, where Mateer likes to run. It's hard, so I feel like it's hard to judge the wide receivers because some of them aren't getting. I don't know if I haven't watched actual film on it where wide receiver is tough because I need to watch actual film because I don't know if the guys are just not getting open or if Mateer is missing them. I mean, we saw yesterday we saw yesterday on the first interception. If Mateer looks to his left, that's an easy catch and throw right there. But
yeah, and that is on Mateer. If he's not seeing the wide open, that's on him. And we saw great catches yesterday.
We did.
There was some little redeeming spots like they had. The problem is he is not seeing down the field, which goes back to how good is Mateer for it. And again, I don't know. But to me, that's also a failure on the offense. Like, there was another stat. OU hasn't scored like several. Oh, let me find it for you. But OU hasn't scored
30 points
over
against
30
a Power
points
4 team,
in like 3 years. That's a problem. And that's on Brent for enabling these coaches to stay. That is a head coach problem. 688 days. So going on right now 2.5 years at this point. Like, yeah.
So Levy was the last. Yeah, so it would have been Levy.
Levy was the last one for that. And boy, the monkey paw curled on that one. But I mean,
that's why you don't say fire everyone, Josh. But no, I agree. I mean, some of it was we just didn't have a quarterback last year. Not like Jackson's been looking. I don't want to knock Jackson Arnold too much, but not like, perfectly. Auburn had a perfect chance to beat Georgia last night, and Jackson couldn't close that. So
yeah,
so that's why it's like, and the one hit, I'll see how the end of the season goes. Either way,
we haven't even discussed the big offender too, is the O-line.
Oh,
like I really feel like it's time. I've been on the fire Bill Bedenbaugh since probably last year or the year before that. I need to even check my own notes for that.
Yeah.
He's not developing players, but he can recruit. Cool. If you can't develop the players, then you're just Texas A&M, paying lots of money. We saw the results of that under Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
Well, they keep getting injured. At some point, guys, you need to bench Jake Taylor or start telling those injured guys, you're not going to have a home here. Like, I'm sorry. You're taking up roster space for it. We can't trust you to be healthy enough to be a starter at this point. It's time to rotate you out. Well, he's getting 5 stars in this recruiting class. Well, cool. They need a year to develop before they actually mean anything. He needs to go. Like, at some point, did he get guys in the league? Yes. But is there going to be any type of, all right, can we bring someone in to help Bill? He's a stubborn person. He won't allow that. So it's time for him to go. and I stand by that.
Okay.
The problem is we can't get the run game going, which has been a long struggle because the O line sucks.
Yeah,
We are
I'll agree.
not
I'll agree with
protecting
you
our
as well.
quarterback or getting at least getting little routes ready for wide receiver because the O line sucks.
It does. No, it
And
does. It does. It does. I'll agree with you. And look, I'll say this here. I do like Bill. I think he's a good I think he's a good offensive line coach. Maybe it's just been bad luck. Whatever. I'm not going to go too much into that. But here's the thing. Name me the offensive line coach of Ohio State.
I can't.
Can you name me the offensive line coach of Michigan?
I can't.
Georgia.
Nope.
And that's my point. Like I might like Bill. I may think he can do a solid job, but at the end of the day, don't fall in love with an offensive line coach. I think doesn't mean maybe things are conspiring against him, but look, and I'll say this: one of the biggest things I say about coaching is don't fire a guy you have unless you think you can get someone better, and don't fall in love with position coaches. Don't get me
Right.
wrong; they're guys who do a they're guys who do a great job, but at the end of the day, there's 130 plus other position coaches who can figure out the job.
Correct.
They
I want to
they
add this in. Oh, go ahead.
they just can. I mean, the only position coach I currently know, non OU, Brian Hartline at Ohio State, just because that wide receiver room has just been astronomically good for like 5 years.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Connor Stallions because he's such a great position coach for Michigan.
But,
He has such
yeah,
great insight, Swiggy.
yeah, but
But no,
that's
you're not wrong. I have the rule of thumb, and it's not my rule of thumb, but it's everybody's rule of thumb is 10 years. After 10 years, you start to fall into a routine, you start becoming closed-minded, and the game starts to catch up with you. You get burnout. Bill's been here for 13 years.
mhm.
And I will even say I gave Bill a little bit benefit of the doubt because Bill, I want to say yes, the cupboard was bare and Lincoln Riley did screw him over by not
Yeah,
taking recruits. Yes. Do we have some long-term damage by Green transferring to Missouri, him being one of the linchpins? Yes. I will admit that. Has injuries plagued Bill? Yes. I acknowledge that. I get that. Some of that's beyond his control. I'm not gonna fault him for that. Where I swayed on it though is you look at the guys this year who have been the starters. I just don't see development with them. I
no,
see some
I
raw
agree with
talent
that.
like Fasusi, excuse me, Fasusi, but I'm not seeing the guys take the leap that they need to. I
Yeah,
keep seeing Bill rotating stuff on the O line, trying to make it work. And to DeMarco's credit, I understand the theory on like who has the hot hand, throw them out there. But then again, then you see Xavier Robinson last year having the hot hand, and then he gets disappeared. He
yeah,
gets shot into the moon. Like
mhm, yeah,
like at
yeah.
this point for running backs, I don't know who's more missing, Xbox in the target section at this point or our running back room.
It's yeah, no. I mean, look, I mean, as always, multiple things are true. Sometimes sometimes you end up just having, eh. Sometimes you end up in just a situation where it's time to move on, and I feel like look, I feel like we're well past that with a lot of position coaches anyway, but I still want to just yeah, I want to see how the rest of this year goes for Brent before I'm totally out. I mean, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I currently, if this is the Titanic, I'm on the lifeboats up right now, and I'm setting myself up to get on one. Uh,
Correct.
I don't think and if the second half of the season doesn't go well, yeah, then Brent's look. The good thing about Brent, he he has some control over the situation. If you win, you go 4-2 against that SEC schedule. Pick up win. Let's say we beat Mizzou, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
Okay, that's an
Uh,
8-4
no,
season.
sorry. Let me pick one more. Let's say we beat LSU. I'll just say
Sure,
we
let's go
lose.
9-3.
Yeah. Then okay, cool. You beat Bama and Bama, Tennessee and Tennessee. Did a good job. Did probably what you were supposed to. Did a good job against Mizzou. It's
Correct.
like you lose to Ole Miss and Bama. Okay,
Sure.
you know what? That's you know what the you know what that's fine. Your losses this year would have been to 3 probable playoff teams. That's enough to keep your job another year. Now, especially if the team grows and things look better. But that's what has to happen. Anything other than that, it's light for Brent. Now, once again, like I
Yeah.
said, the good thing is we can control that. We can win. We can do it. But that's the thing. Anything more than 2 losses, that's when things get sketchy, and you have to decide, and you have to have some tough discussions, tough decisions. Now, one thing that I do
I
think makes this now, what? Hold up, I want to finish here. I want to finish.
Sure.
One good thing that I do think is going to make the decision easier is, I'm not sure if everyone caught it this week, but they changed how the transfer portal works when coaches are fired or let go.
Right. That is, if you want to elaborate, go right ahead on that.
Yeah, I'll elaborate on this.
Because
So
it lets me
before
get a drink real fast.
Yeah. So before, how it worked was if you fired a coach, players had 30 days to transfer out no matter what. The way this works now is players will have 15 days to transfer out only after a new coach is hired. So one of the big so like one of my big things for a while when it came to keeping for a while was when it comes to keeping Brent has been, you know what, you don't want to lose those recruiting classes, you don't want to start over, you don't want to do this, you don't want to give people a chance to raid your cupboard. That's changed now though. Now players have to at least see who the new head coach is, and the new head coach gets a chance to talk to players before the tra- before the tra- before they can just head straight to the tamper portal. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still going to lose guys, you're still going to lose recruits. Uh,
Which, keep in mind, this was needed. Like,
yeah,
I understand giving the players agency, but the pendulum swings so far in the opposite direction
I agree.
that it was unfair to the coaches at that point.
I agree. It was unfair to the coaches because it doesn't let you do an actual search. Like a coach
Correct.
might have like you would have someone lined up immediately. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Any good program does have any program does have someone lined up. But
Sure.
now now you have a little bit of leeway, which, I mean, if you're a borderline coach, well, congrats. I'm not sure when it take it. I think it took effect. I think it takes effect immediately. I think that's part of the reason why.
It's immediately. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
say that.
yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, then that's part of the reason why Penn State finally fired Franklin.
Which no one should be surprised on that.
No,
Franklin,
Franklin deserves to be fired. We'll go over that another time. But
sure.
that is an important change now, and that's something that, yeah, that's something that, remember, guys who are here, they might still transfer out, but they have to at least see who the coach is first, and it also gives you a chance to up the NIL money a little bit.
Well, it's also too, again, it was needed. One thing on the
Yeah.
James Franklin thing, I think the biggest change, I discussed it a little bit with my dad, and dad hates it, but it's also the state of the game now, is they're going the NFL route. Like, we're not keeping you to the end of the season when there is no hope. Like,
Yeah.
James Franklin, we're not keeping you to the end. Like, I know people didn't like people lined up and booed him. It's a business, guys. At some point, if you're not going to do the job, guess what? You make a lot of more money than probably everybody in that stadium combined. I don't give two shits if you get booed. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
sorry, it's a business. Sucks to suck. Don't suck. I'm not saying winning a natty is easy. Like, that's
No.
silly.
Well,
But you can't drop to UCLA.
No one was expecting. Yeah, and here's I mean, Franklin's situation is a lot different. I mean, Franklin. Well, Franklin, you could say it's the same way as Brent hasn't been able to beat good teams. So,
Well,
yeah, I mean, we'll see,
add,
but we'll see how this we'll see how the rest of the year goes. I
add
know
this
we're
in though.
talking
Add this
coaches.
in though, Swiggy too. Franklin, I don't really care if he got booed or anything because
No,
his buyout is stupid.
no, I don't care. Franklin got booed. Franklin, it's college. Boo people. You're so
No.
you
I'm saying, well, he has a family, bros. He's getting like $100 million to not
Yeah, well,
play
that's
football.
here's the thing.
I could really give two
Here's
shits.
the thing. After you make a certain amount of money, you're allowed to be booed in public. I'm sorry. That's how it works.
That applies to everybody. That applies
Ne-
to the students and stuff too.
never feel bad. Yeah, never feel bad about booing a coach or a play, or even now a player. These
Yep.
people aren't. These people aren't doing it for free. Boo whoever you
No,
want.
they're not.
I boo
I
whoever
have
you
more
want.
sympathy for like our softball girls or like gymnastics where they're just getting pocket change. I'm way more sympathetic for the football players. About one we haven't discussed, by the way. If there was any doubt, okay, and this falls back on DeMarco, but this also falls a little bit on Nagy. Nagy, right? Yeah, that's our GM.
Yeah, I think it's Nagy. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to think for a sec. Ott is just a complete failure. Bro needs to just redshirt and transfer out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like him, Joe John, stealing money from the university, or him, DeMarco, stealing money from the university. Like, to be fair, people from Cal said that's who he is, and that
Yeah.
we were not ready for that. And boy, were we not. Like, I think we need a refund.
Yeah.
Bro is bad. Like, I can understand why they didn't want him out there. Like, maybe they thought the O line was going to be better, but he can't block at all. He's a terrible player. Like, I feel like he is the player you reach for in fantasy football when you're really needing another running back and you got nothing.
Hey, I will say my best fantasy pickup all year has somehow been Drake May. So what's that tell you?
This is a very injury-ridden league.
Yeah,
But
it is.
Swiggy, I said this to you yesterday. For all of y'all didn't know, I hung out with Swiggy yesterday and we watched the game. But I said it yesterday to you, Swiggy. Why is it at times like the OU Texas that I feel like I could prepare the team much better than our $1 million coaches can to get up for one game? Why is it that I feel like I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel or trying to brick wall into something? Like, I get the theories behind stuff, but even then, again, it's not how that we lost, it's how we lost. And boy, it was it. Chad, if you got any questions for us too, we've been going for 50 minutes on just solely like the state of the program, and we're not done yet. Please throw them in and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. For it, I know some of us, we may not have as much insight as Sean would, but we'll try our best to answer. But here's the other thing, Swiggy. Like I said, I feel like we're just rearranging stuff on the deck chairs because, okay, we throw DeMarco out. That means it's going to take Brent
No,
realistically 6 years
no.
to actually get a full team ready to go.
Number one, that's not how it works. Number one, no. If you're throwing out coaches, look, someone can come in and make a difference. If you fire DeMarco, that doesn't add more time to Brent. Like I said, we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
I think it does. I disagree, Swiggy. I think it does because if you fire three, let's go with three. We're going to fire Joe John. We're going to fire DeMarco. And let's just say Emmett Jones. Let's say they want to keep Bill because of the recruits. You still got to give them a year because, like, all right, you got to bring guys in. You got to recruit.
No,
they got to be built up for it. the transfer portal only helps so much. That's still another year, and that's what they would give him. Just like this year, unless Brent goes 5-7, and I would even argue 6-6, he's not getting fired because Arbuckle hasn't had a full year.
I disagree
As
with.
much as I want to
I
bitch, moan, and
disagree
gripe,
with that. I disagree with that. I want to see how he does the rest of the season, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we're going. Unfortunately, we're going in a circle here about Brent when we don't. When we won't. When. But there'll be plenty of time to talk about Brent the rest of the year. There'll be plenty of time.
oh, I know. Now, my question to you: do you think there are going to be position coaches fired? Not including Joe John, because Joe John's like a Horcrux that you just can't get rid
I'm gonna
of.
say
And
yes. I'm gonna say yes, just because and just because it's just because they'll want to do something. I'll be shocked, especially if our running game improves. Especially if the running game doesn't improve at all. But if the running game doesn't improve at all, well, you're probably firing Brent anyway. So
yeah, well, if I had to pick a coach that I think is gone, it's probably DeMarco.
oh
I
yeah,
think the DeMarco train has finally ran its course. If you have to fire someone outside of Joe John Finley, it's got to be DeMarco, man. At least Bill, you can have the excuse of, yes, I do have 2 5-star offensive linemen coming in. You at least have that excuse, and it's true on paper. There is no deliverables with DeMarco. He should have
yeah,
gone with Riley years ago, unfortunately, but
yeah.
it
What are
is
you
what
gonna
it is for that one. But I don't think we're going in circles with Brent. I just think, yes, there is a why are we feeling this way when it's 5-1? Because we've seen this story before. We've seen the Brent Venables starts really, really, really hot. We get into that top 5, top 10, and then we roller coaster afterwards. And it depends on which games. And we've seen it usually from, I think it was last year or the year before, where it's like we started hot, then we roller coaster, then we lose. Then we have a bye week. Then we start off, we win it, we struggle, and then we lose again. And it was roller coaster. It was the wave. I think
We'll
that's
see.
what people are afraid of, and I
Yeah,
don't
well, yeah.
I
Well, we'll
don't blame
see.
them. Oh, and the hard part, the one thing I did want to mention as well, the hard part too is a lot of the players that we have on this team right now on the offensive side of the ball, they're just Jags. That's the problem. Like Fabechi is just a failure, man. Like unfortunately, like we expected so much from him and he just failed. I can excuse Fasusi getting teamed up on yesterday because again, he's still at the end of the day, it's his
He's a
first
freshman.
year.
Yeah, he's a
I'm
freshman.
not gonna
Yeah.
judge someone who is literally he's great enough to start, but that also says a lot like who's behind him at this point, like outside of injuries, of course.
Mm.
I'm not gonna necessarily but like this like Fabechi, like dude's bad. He's not good. Like they're just Jags. 3-star. I don't even know if they're 3-star. They're 2-star players with 5-star hearts. It's a death by 1,000 cuts, and we could keep delving and everything for it. To me, the epitome of where the program is again is that last 6 minutes of the second quarter where the game was still very much in. I think that swaying the momentum so much that it took away anything OU was working with. I
Eh,
don't think throwing Hawkins in would have. Again, that's where I'm circling, but I don't think throwing Hawkins in would have solved anything. But man, you just have to wonder, would he have just given Mateer just a breather if you know you're just going to have a 3 and out? Oh, I forgot. The other reason too is this is on Bill. This is on Bill. We cannot get out of our own way. Penalties were atrocious yesterday.
that's like half on. That's like half. That's like more players than coaches.
Yeah, but
It's a.
players on other coaches though?
I know, but guys are gonna do. Guys are gonna do that, and yeah, I mean that's part of that's part of football. That's part of football IQ, and right now we're a bit low on that. So
Yeah, it just seems like we just cannot get the stars aligned with both sides of the football. And it comes down to whatever your philosophy is of like, hey, I prefer the offense, what we had with Riley, because at least we were winning games, or you prefer the defense. A defense wins championships. You got to have a mixture of both. I just don't like the Brent philosophy right now that whatever we're missing, we need to go portal it. I get that, but you're getting not the guys we need. That's what it comes down to. Here's one for you, Swiggy. Jimmy's asking, who can we get if we do fire Bill Beatenbow, Joe John Finley, and DeMarco? Jimmy, I'm going to take one. I'm going to take one answer. Any of the 100 and whatever, 30 whatever teams in college football who have a tight end coach will supersede Joe John Finley. Even Oklahoma State, as dumpster fire as they have, their tight ends coach is better than Joe John Finley. So that is literally shake your magic 8-ball and go, well, I guess we're getting them from Tulane today. Any coach would be better than Joe John Finley. DeMarco and Bill Beatenbow are tougher answers because those are going to be your open up the bag.
Yeah, it's at that point it depends how much we want to spend, who looks good, who's a hot hand, who looks good, who can there's a lot there's a lot that goes into that. And Jimmy, that's a good question. I don't know who they would get. Unfortunately, I don't know Fortunately, I don't know anyone. I have no inside information, and I don't know enough about every single coordinator. But I mean, if they did do it, it would be someone different. And for DeMarco, I don't feel different would be bad because I like DeMarco, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself, who was OU's last really good running back?
Eric Gray, because he rushed for 1,000 yards.
Was he coached by DeMarco?
Yes and no, because he was a transfer in from Tennessee.
Well, there you go. There's your answer.
And he was injured for stuff. So it's like half of it's yes, but are you talking about like a homegrown, like recruited under? Then the answer is no, nobody, because they're all ass.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's like at a certain point, you have like football's a team sport. Everything feeds into each other. You can have weaknesses, but you can't have. But at some point, when you have just enough of every weakness, the steal's going to fail. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's just going to fail.
Well, that goes into the general philosophy of once you get into past the top 15 teams, all those teams have deficiencies. It's just how well can they mask them and what the deficiency is. And that's what separates a good from a great team. Unfortunately for us, one of our biggest deficiencies is the running game. And that's not something you fix overnight. The other part that goes into the coordinators with it. And again, I know that's such a wishy-washy answer from both of us with it because I don't know. That's not a question I've thought of for who to go replace. I'm still kind of in the moment myself, but you also have to look at who is realistic that you can throw a bag to that they would come here with how troubling everything is, as well as what about looking at some of the G6 teams and stuff as well? Who is actually an up and coming like person who has a realistic chance of being brought over. I mean, you could say maybe I don't even know myself because you have to look each year as well. Maybe BYU's or Old Dominions, for example. I know South Florida has a good running back coach, but again, that's just looking purely at stats, not like who their opponents are and everything at that point too. It's hard for me to give an answer. Same thing with Bill. The question is who can you throw a bag to that will leave their school to go to an uneasy situation like it is right now? That's where it comes down to. Joe John, like I said, pick any of the 100 and I'm going to get you the exact number. I think there's like 136. Pick any of the 135 power FBS teams. They will be better than anything Joe John Finley is.
How many teams did you say?
I think there's 136 in total. So that
means 136. 136. Yeah.
What was I right? Was I spot on?
Yeah, there are 100. Yeah, there are 136 teams right
Hey, now. I scored more points, more answers correct than our team did yesterday. But that means there's 135 coaches, and that's not even including FCS. Like I would even go to FCS for a good tight ends coach. That's possible. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a combination of everything. If the linchpin of your offense, the O-line is not good. And look, I understand too. O-line stuff is tricky. I get that. There is no real one method. It's all about gelling with the guys. It's all about making sure they know what their assignments are and what the person next to them is.
Yep.
I get that. At some point, though, it affects everything because it affects how long the quarterback can read. It affects how getting the holes for the running backs. It affects the wide receivers being able to, not flexibility, but like substitute their routes to try to get in deep and everything. Like it does. It affects how long for it.
Yeah, the two. Look. I'll go NFL here just to make a point. The two Super Bowls that the Kansas City Chiefs have lost, both times their offensive line was horrible. It was. I know it was. I know people don't always like. Both times their offensive line totally broke down against the Eagles and totally broke down against the Buccaneers. So offense, it all starts with offensive line. Even though I think our running backs aren't great, if the not like the offensive line is gelling enough for him anyway. So
yeah. I just know something has to be done. Again, it's not meltdown. Again, people are wondering, why are you melting down when it's 5-1? It's not that we lost. It's how we lost and what the crystal ball shows. Because right now, based on how bad the O line is, I can't guarantee like OU wins any more games because of how bad the O line is. Now, South Carolina struggles, sure. But guess what? It's at South Carolina. Material's not 100%. We could drop that game. Ole Miss, yeah, they're not as good as what they were advertised. Guess what? They can still score. That could still be a.
I'd say Ole Miss is good. I'd say Ole Miss is better than advertised this year.
No, because they've still lost games and stuff too. Like
no, they haven't. Ole Miss is undefeated.
Oh well, I thought they lost yesterday. That's my.
No, Ole Miss. No, Ole Miss.
I don't think they're well.
No, Ole Miss. No, I'm not sure I call Ole Miss a top 5 team like in the AP poll, but Ole Miss is definitely a top 15. Ole Miss is definitely a top 15 team.
I think
they're good. Right now, they're good right now. Looking at it, just looking. That's what the back end of the schedule looks like, and this is why
they have Georgia this week. Like to me, that will give me the true read on Ole Miss.
Yeah, we have Ole Miss. Yeah, currently Ole Miss 5, Bama 6, LSU 10, Tennessee 11. So and Mizzou is 16. So yeah, no, it's gonna be a hell of a toboggan ride.
That's why I said if he goes, there is a possibility he could go 5-7 and 6-6. And if he does, we have to have a discussion because 4 years is more than enough time to right the ship.
Yeah, it's a hell of a
toboggan. We've seen it with the defense. Why isn't the offense not working? Because he chose the lazy route with Left Latrell. And I'll be honest, I'll be happy once Josie is gone because Josie is a little bit complicit in this of like, well, we don't want to get rid of the coaches or we don't want to overpay. Cool. Glad you're gone within a year at this point, Josie, because then get someone who's more hungry than you are. That's just my opinion, though. I have many issues of a Josie stuff as I've gotten older, but it is what it is. But it's again, there's many reasons why OU lost yesterday. A lot of it falls on the offense. Yet again, same shit, different day.
Mm-hmm. Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan.
Sure, and I want to throw this out here too while it's on my mind. I understand the state of college football is also different. Oregon dropped one yesterday to Indiana. Like, I get it. There's not going to be undefeated teams. I get that. It's less losing, and it's more of, dear goodness, is this going to snowball? Because here's the thing. It can snowball with OU really fast, guys. Like, again, if OU would have lost competently yesterday, no one would care. We would move on. It's not, though. It's the same story. That's what's scary.
You care. You care.
But, no, it's never acceptable to lose.
I know,
but there is.
But looking,
the good vibes that Brent got from Michigan and Auburn, those are gone. Like, you wouldn't have had those lost if it was just a heartbreaker yesterday. It was an ass whooping. Unfortunately, we were on the recipient end of it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, this week's this week's actually. Let's see. Looking at this week ahead. Um. Okay, interesting. Louisville, Miami on Friday.
Yeah, that could be an interesting game.
Yeah, and then we have, just so everyone knows, OU South Carolina is that's an 11:45 game on SEC Network.
Correct. Chat, as we're kind of discussing too, but as we're about to wrap up, if you got any last questions or anything, please throw them in. We'll try to answer to the best of our capabilities for it. The one thing to keep in mind is, unlike other things, if even things go south, they're going to give Brent the full time. Like, he's not going to be fired midseason. There's no reason to assume like, oh, Brent's going to get canned if he loses the South. That's not going to happen. Like, let y'all can let that go immediately. And I think everyone in here knows that, but it is what it is. But Swiggy, you got any final thoughts, man? Anything on this atrocious Texas game and Brent having a Texas problem?
I would say my final thoughts are, you know, has Auburn been whining about the refs today?
Yes, they have been.
Good, because Auburn actually deserves to whine about the refs today. I can't believe it. Like for as much of the fit they threw against us, what happened last night in the Georgia game was 1,000 times worse than what we did to them. They
So what
should.
happened? To recap, Swiggy, what happened in the Georgia game?
So Auburn was up 10-0. They were at the goal line. Jackson Arnold very easily got the ball over the line for a touchdown, which would have made it 17-0. They said he fumbled the ball, and Auburn would go on to give up 20 consecutive points.
I mean, that was such a drive killer. And
Hey,
again, at some point, and I do want to state this, we haven't discussed it, and you said it very briefly, and I do want to throw this in. The refs did suck yesterday. It was
a
not
little
why we
bit.
lost.
No.
The
The
look,
refs.
we could call that block in the back. Unfortunately, guys, we weren't getting into the red zone at all yesterday.
There were
It
two
was not
bad.
the refs.
There were two bad calls yesterday. One was the block in the back that wasn't called, and the other one was Mateer taking a hit after 19 whistles.
Yeah,
That
and
uh,
I
uh,
have issues with that.
I have issues with that too, but neither is enough that that you can't overcome that, because there's always going to be missed holds. There's always going to be stuff per game. Ref crew,
Yeah,
they did fine. Other than those two things, but yeah,
I
but
don't think the ref crew did fine, but their stuff didn't
I
affect the
consider
outcome. There was not going to be
I
a
consider it fine for college. They didn't. Whenever I say a ref crew did fine, I mean they didn't influence the they didn't influence the game really one way or another. So
I've said the same thing that I just want a C plus ref crew at this point. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, your refing crew sucks if you're missing that blatant of cheap shots on players. Like, I understand it getting scrappy. I understand like the emotions roll over. You gotta throw that flag. That is not a. I don't care if it would is an OU player would have done it to a Texas player. You got to throw that flag, guys. You have to keep their emotions in check for that because stuff escalates really fast and people get hurt at that point. And again, I'm also of the, they're still not the biggest offenders on stuff. Just like I think Booger McFarland should be suspended for saying, I think they should step on Mateer's hand. Really, bro? Like, that's uncalled
yeah.
for.
Anyone advocating hurting a player should be suspended.
Absolutely.
I want to be clear about that.
Yes, I do too.
But yeah, that is my.
It is what it is.
But yeah,
It's why
there's
you
nothing.
have moved on from the horns down to Thunder.
Yeah, obviously. Hey, many people are saying the OKC Thunder are reigning NBA champions. Many people are saying this. Oh, cool! World Baseball Classic. Oh, yeah, World Base. Damn, it's already time for the World Baseball Classic again. Cool.
I mean, hey, we're 9 days off from Thunder season and seeing the Thunder raise the banner in the arena while Kevin Durant is present.
It's NBA's evil. NBA's evil for that. Like,
No, Kevin Durant
they're
did
a
it
little
free.
evil. They're a little evil. Come on, that's that's such an evil. That's such an evil move by the NBA. But because of course the Thunder are going to raise the banner opening night. Come on.
They are. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what every team does, but it's
exactly.
not
That's
evil.
exactly.
I think it's hysterical. Hey,
I think it's
I
evil
think
on
this
the
was
NBA. I think it's evil. I think it's evil on the NBA. But
Swiggy. At least I say I have 4 days till Pokemon Za comes out, and yes, Pokemon's going to be fantastic. Even though Nintendo's a dumpster fire, Sony's a dumpster fire, Xbox is a real big dumpster fire. I don't know who's worse, Xbox or offense at this point. They're
you
both
think
horrible.
you think everything's a dumpster fire.
No, I
Anyway,
don't think everything's a dumpster fire,
yes, you
but I
do.
think
Yes, you
that
do.
Xbox is a dumpster fire. But
Anyway, that's all I got.
that's really all I have to. My recap for it is what happens post Texas depends on the rest of the season. And I know that sounds like a
Yeah,
wishy-washy answer, but if he does go 9-3, this will just be a blip, but people aren't going to be happy about it. Again, there are very legitimate reasons of saying, hey, 1 out of 4 against Texas, or 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, however you want.
one
You've
and
only
three,
won
one and
one
three.
out of the past 4.
Let's say 1 and 3. Yeah, 1 and 3.
Yeah,
I
you're 1 and
mean,
3 against Texas, and you still have not scored a touchdown. Those are offenders, and yes, that is a problem. And I am not going to disagree. But if he goes 9-3, we it has to get to the point of, is that a bust season or not? We'll just have to determine it. But that's my final thoughts on it. It sucks. I'm not nearly as upset as I was last year, but I'm just, again, I'm at the point of, I think this is the swan song of starting with Brent Venables. That something I will add in as well. Swiggy, I haven't said it, but I will. Unfortunately, right now for me, I keep saying it to the crowd. I need Brent Venables to prove me wrong.
I
Unfortunately, he
agree.
has
No,
not
I
done
agree.
that.
No, I agree. I agree
I've
with
been
you.
and I
I've been.
and I don't want to say I'm right, but I've been right more than not on Brent Venables right now. He has to prove me wrong, and he hasn't. That's why I'm like, I don't think this is 9-3. I don't even think this is 8-4. 7-5 starting to look really realistic, and I will be calling even more louder that, yeah, it's time to
Yeah,
kick
people.
Brent
Yeah,
to the
people.
curb.
Yeah, I will too. I will too. I just want to see how the rest of the season goes. Mostly because look, there's gonna be plenty of time to be mad at Brent. I'm just kind of choosing to be like, I'm almost out, but I'll see how the rest of the season goes
You,
before I get mad.
you know the one thing that's sad, Swiggy? Even with our offensive struggles right now, we're still nowhere near the worst program in college football. Oklahoma State, Penn
Oh
State,
yeah.
UCLA. There are genuine dumpster fires. Ours are, we need to figure out the other side of the ball, and maybe do we give Brent more grace or not? That's the question. The rest of it's like, oh, Penn State, like, you were near national championship last year, and now you lost it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
if I'm Indiana right now, if I'm Indiana, I'm I'm doing everything I can to make sure that my coach doesn't leave for Penn State. I'm not sure how interested he'd be, but Penn State's going to be good. I mean, Penn State's going to be going after people because
Yeah.
because I mean they have the money, they have the will to win, and yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the one thing I'd say about Penn State, and I know kind of going off target and kind of going off on tangent here, but
No, because it's relevant.
I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if if Penn State did not get a whale this time.
uh here's my final, Kyle. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think we're in dumpster fire. I think there are positions, and you could even say the entire offense is dumpster fire. And I'm not singling you out. I'm just reading the comments. Don't take it that way. I just think that the defense is fine. If the defense was bad or we were dropping games to like Kent State, yes, we would be in that same category. We're not the bottom feeders right now. It's gonna suck on what it looks like for the SEC shorts and SEC roll call tomorrow. It's gonna suck, but we're not at that point yet. And I don't think we will be because the defense is still elite. But the offense side, we are at break glass in case of emergency for it. And this game on Saturday will determine if it snowballs or not. Swiggy, I only have one question for you, then we'll wrap up. Here's if you had to choose between OU's offense or Chili's new queso, which one is more the failure?
I mean, I'll use offense because Chili's new queso it's queso. I mean,
It's there.
it gets the job. I mean, I have no problem with it. I'll order it again. I just won't order it. But like, I'm not a huge Chili's queso person. So
That's the real tragedy in all this. OU lost this week, and we lost the queso. That's the real loser of this week. Swiggy, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Chat, as always, thank y'all for tuning in. I like seeing the chats, seeing the comments. I like answering y'all's questions. Please spread the word about the channel. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. You know when we upload a video and or go live. I do not know if y'all get notifications on it. I know YouTube is really weird on it. So on the page, go back up and make sure like you're subscribed to stuff and that you are receiving notifications. Again, I don't know for it, but I do want to see the numbers rise. I do want to see more people interact and everything for that. Again, our next live stream will probably be Wednesday. We'll see what the prep and everything is set at this point going into the South Carolina game. Again, it sucks, but it is what it is. Against Texas, we'll win one again. It just is it going to be a third year of this? Is it going to be we finally turn around? We'll just have to see. But there's always one thing that's true. We're still going to be here. We're still going to discuss it. That's what makes us fans. It also makes us sickos too. So, Boomer
yep.
Shooter guys, there's only one Oklahoma, and we'll see everybody on the next live stream.
See ya.